All right. Happy Sunday. 24 hours or almost 24 hours before the Nikon Z6 III is going to be announced officially by Nikon. 8 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. That will be 12 p.m. London time, 3 p.m. Dubai, and 9 p.m. in Sydney. So check your clock and create an alarm. I wanted to take just a minute and run over a few things for tomorrow that I think might be helpful, and a couple of things people missed in the sort of the pre-launch videos that other people put out. First thing, in the teaser video, I'll put up a picture, but if you listen very, very carefully, at least I did, you can hear the 120 frames per second on the pre-capture. So I think it's barely audible, but Nikon mixed that in there a little bit. So maybe go back and take a listen. I could hear it. So I think the pre-capture 120 frames per second is clearly part of the video. The comment about all the colors, I think that's going to speak to 12-bit video. So we'll get more detail on all the video and the specs and all that tomorrow. From a camera size perspective, I put together an initial kind of from the video, a kind of initial size comparison, and a couple of the channels actually picked that up as gospel. And I went back and with the leaked pictures, and I ran it again, and I think it's the Z6 III is probably slightly smaller than what I depicted in that first shot or that first depiction. I think it's going to be pretty darn close to the Z6 II in terms of size, just a little bigger. So again, I think it's going to be, from a size perspective, I think we're all going to be very, very happy with it. All indications continue to point to the fact that it's going to be a 24 megapixel sensor. I've kind of gone out on a limb before. I'm like the only person that has done this that said, I think it might be a stack sensor. And the only reason I say that is really two things. One, Nikon's making a brand new sensor for this camera, or at least we think they are. It appears to be. If you're going to go to all that trouble, why would you create a sensor that's kind of dead on arrival? Now, let me make a caveat. It is certainly possible to make a sensor that isn't stacked and it still performs well. Maybe Nikon has figured out how to do that. All I'm suggesting is if Nikon's going to build a brand new sensor, from a speed perspective, read speed off of the sensor, that they're going to try and do everything they can with such a video-centric all-around camera as the Z6 III to prevent warping when you're panning left to right in video, or even stills for that matter. So I think it's going to be a very fast sensor, and stacked is one of the best ways to do that, but they may have found another way to do it. But it does appear, as many people has wanted this to be a 33 megapixel camera, it does not appear to be the case. Now, we don't have lots of information on the sensor, and they're keeping that hush-hush. So we'll see tomorrow, in less than about 24 hours, a little less, or a little 1 hour more. 26 hours, we'll know. Really quick on the price. So, and this is another reason why I think, maybe the second reason why I think that the sensor might be stacked. The price is coming in. Everybody thinks it's around $2,500 US. And I mean, why the extra money? I mean, what is it? What's driving the extra cost? I think it's the sensor, and which is the reason why I think it's going to be a very high performing sensor. The other thing that Nikon has apparently done is they have a new XSpeed 7 processor. Now, you might ask, why would Nikon spend time creating a new processor for the Nikon Z6 III? Well, I think it's because of heat, right? So the processor generates a lot of heat, and in a prior life, in some other chip design things that I was privy to see and kind of understand on some things, you can rework circuitry inside of an ASIC and spread some of the circuitry out on the chip that generates the most heat, and like move them around and stuff to try and make the chip a little more efficient from a heat perspective. You would have thought they would have done that already, but the X-Speed 7 has been around for quite a number of years now. So it looks like they tweaked it some for the Z6. They also could have, I hope they don't do this, but I mean, from a performance perspective, maybe it's okay since you have half the megapixels. They may have also clocked it down, right? So basically run the X-Speed 7 slower so that they can, because they have half the data that they have to deal with right than the Z8, the Z9. So we'll see. We'll get more information on that soon, and we'll know all about it in just about 24 hours. Pre-ordering. I've had a lot of people ask me about pre-ordering. There are a lot of folks that have pre-order links, and I have one too. It's super easy. It's up on the screen. Some of the links that some of the other folks give you are kind of complicated. Mine's super easy. I'll put it up on the screen. It is an affiliate link, so I get a very small commission. It doesn't cost you anything anymore. But if you would use that, that would be great. It would help support the channel. This is a new channel, and I have lots and lots of videos planned for the Nikon Z6 III in comparison with the 2. And if you've seen some of my other in-depth videos, like on the Z50, for example, and the Z6 II, I do a lot of research in and around the algorithms and how they work and which focus modes work best for different situations. So if you're interested in all of that kind of stuff, it would be great if you could support the channel. And subscribe too. If we're a new channel here, so it'd be great to get your subscription and a thumbs up. I appreciate that. So in terms of pre-ordering, also I was in contact with Adorama, which is my pre-link goes to Adorama. I like them the best, mainly because they usually package some extra things, extra goodies more than B&H. They'll throw in filters, memory cards, camera bags, all that kind of stuff. So in some of the bundles, oftentimes you can get a slightly better deal through Adorama. So that's why I like to shop there. Plus, being such a big retailer like B&H, I mean, they're going to get a lot of supply. So if you want to get in the queue early and you have a great chance to get the camera as quickly as possible, they're a great choice. So what I would do in order to do the whole pre-order thing. So take the smart link, copy it, paste it in your browser. Tomorrow morning, just before 8 o'clock, maybe 7:45, I'm going to start checking around 7:45 or 7:50. Just have everything launched and loaded with that pre-link, that pre-order link. Now, if you click that link before, the embargo, right, before Nikon has allowed the pre-orders to start, you're going to see Z6 II information, because the search goes to Adorama and it's like, well, we don't have a Z6 III, and it'll show you Z6 II. But as soon as the Z6 III is available, I'll kind of put up a mock-up. It'll look something like this, and there'll be a pre-order button there, and you'll be able to pre-order it. So that's what I'm going to do, and just going to sit there and refresh the screen kind of while I'm watching the Nikon announcement and things. So anyway, so that's what I would do. And again, it's 8 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, around 12 p.m. London, 3 p.m. Dubai, 9 p.m. Sydney. Check your local time zone for the time. We expect the link to go live around 8 a.m. right when it starts, but they could pause, right? They could wait till 8:30. I don't know, but let's see. I was talking with Adorama, communicating with them, and they told me that they don't even know when the link's going to go live yet. So they've got somebody on the Adorama side just waiting to push a button. They're waiting to get a call from Nikon and say, okay, open the pre-orders, and then they're going to make it live on the website. So even Adorama doesn't know exactly what time, but they've assured me that the pre-order links are going to be there. So, and then as soon as you see the pre-order link, go ahead and put your order in. Also, if you're not sure about the camera, you're like, gosh, the price is a bit much. Some people are like, oh, I don't know, $2,500. if depending on what country you're in, if there's value added tax, it can push it up to almost 3,000, like 3,000 euros. It can be a lot for some people. If you're not really sure, you're kind of on the fence, go ahead and pre-order it anyway. You can always cancel it before the order happens, right? So at least you can get in the queue and then get yourself some more time to decide if you want to do it or not. And they're saying delivery is going to be in July, right? So just in a couple of weeks. And honestly, I think Nikon has learned their lesson. They did not a massively great job with the Z9, but they did better with the Z8, right? With a lot of supply. I think Nikon knows and understands that the Nikon Z6 III is going to be the best selling camera in this segment of any camera they've ever made. And I think that's probably right. So hopefully they have been gearing up and they have a lot of supply. They would be smart to do so. And maybe all the delays, I mean, people have been kind of like, gosh, where's the camera? Where's the camera? Where's the camera? If they've been spending this time tweaking the firmware and getting a lot of supply, then that's going to make ultimately everybody a lot happier. So, oh, one more thing on the affiliate link. I make a tiny commission. It's not much, but it does help out the channel. And if you're interested in this kind of channel, like I said, please subscribe and use the pre-order link. It's super easy to remember and easy to type into your browser as well. That would be great. Also, consider joining our Facebook group. So there's a Facebook group called Nikon Z6 III, parentheses, Mark III. That Facebook group is dedicated to the Z6 III because I think that camera, this camera is going to stand out kind of on its own and needed its own category. And also, unlike the other Nikon Z6 III Facebook group, like we don't allow people to sell gear. I polled people when we created the group and said, you know, do you want people to be allowed to sell gear? And everybody was like, no, 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 no. Because people scam people. I'm like, we're not going to deal with any of that. So all of that gets filtered out. So if you want a Facebook group about the Z6 III, all about it, for people to share tips, ideas, great photography, we'll certainly be pushing content in there as well. Then that's the group for you. And it's not going to be, you're not going to run into stuff that's inappropriate as well. We filter all that stuff out. So should be a good group. And there's already a little over 4,000 people in it. Consider joining. I'll put a link in the description below. And I think that's it. So I've been looking forward to this camera for quite a long time, and I'm sure you have as well. We will catch you on the next video. Thanks for tuning in. Again, please subscribe. We got lots of videos coming for the Z6 III, comparison to Z6 II, lots of different lenses, etc. Lots of testing to come, and I think everybody's pretty excited about it. So again, thanks for tuning in, and we will catch you on the next video.